Hello, beautiful souls. Today's episode is so good. And before we jump in, I have some exciting news to share. If you've ever wondered where you're blocking money, this is for you. I've created a free quiz to diagnose your money wounds so you can heal them and unblock yourself to receive more money. Just go to moneywoundsquiz.com and answer 6 quick questions to get your insanely accurate and potent results. And if you're loving my vibe and want to work one-on-one to call in more feminine energy wealth, I would love to hear from you. You can shoot me a DM on social media or go to emilywilcox.com to learn more. Hello and welcome back to the M Makes Money show. You guys, I've had the best morning. I got to connect with my mentor, Melanie Ann Lair, on a special alumni day and just talk to her on Zoom, which was so fun. I miss, seeing her face more regularly inside of Zoom where we can have that back and forth conversation since I've rolled out of her mastermind. And so it was fun to just catch her up on all the things and tell her about the Palm Springs retreat and how it was sold out. And she's like, I know. I knew that for you. I knew that was going to happen. Your success was so inevitable. I'm so proud of you. And I was able to show her, oh my gosh, the photos from the retreat. They just came from the photographer over the weekend and they are unreal. I am so obsessed. I keep scrolling through all of them, not just for myself, but also my clients. I feel my heart swell with pride. And just how beautiful they look, how empowered, how we're redefining what it looks like to be an incredible female CEO, female entrepreneur, and that it doesn't have to be all, power suits and, just that traditional look of I'm going to give off that masculine energy so that I'm tough and strong and badass. And it's yes, and it can be so different and it can be fun and expressive and playful and look completely different than anything you would see in a boardroom or in a corporate office. And that can also be just as powerful and just as badass. So I showed Melanie a picture of myself in lingerie on a bed, just showered in money. I took $10,000 out of the bank for this photo shoot so that I would be using real money, because everybody who does photo shoots with money, they all use fake money. So anytime you see photo shoots where it's all $100 bills, that is fake money. You can buy that for, $20 on Amazon, but that doesn't have the same vibe. And so it was really fun for my clients and I to play with real money. And for some of us, it was the first time holding $10,000 cash in our hands. And it's the smell of it and the feel of it and the imperfections and all the different kinds of bills and just all of the things. So it's just been beautiful and so fun to share that with my mentor who, helped me to really birth and grow this coaching business over the last year. And she created an incredible community where I connect with so many other women. And one of those women is a guest today on the podcast. And she's here actually to receive some coaching. So rather than interview style, you will hear me coaching her. And her name is Kacie Knight. And she is an incredible soul-led, heart-led entrepreneur. She's a very multi-dimensional, incredible being. Her offers through her company, Joy Evolution, really help soulpreneurs to activate their voice, to harness their power, amplify their magnetism, start co-creating, start aligning with their highest timeline, and creating a business and life that really light them up. And you'll hear that as I talk with her and better understand how her business is structured and how she can start calling in those higher dollar months that she so desires. So again, I just applaud her for the courage and willingness to be publicly coached on a podcast. Often our coaching conversations one-on-one can feel vulnerable. It's like we're sharing the one place where we feel stuck or resistant or where we're not getting the result that we want yet. And so to voluntarily say, yes, I'm willing to do that when I know that thousands of people are going to listen to that happening. It just takes a tremendous amount of courage and vulnerability. And you guys are going to fall in love with Kacie as I did. And you're going to see just how inevitable her success really is. So without further ado, here's the episode. All right. I am so happy to be here today. Kacie Knight, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I do love your podcast. It is so full of gold nuggets and gems.
Thank you so much. That is so well received. And now you get to be on it. So like, what a manifestation. Yay.
I love that.
I know that you had a coaching question that you wanted to bring forward. So why don't we start there?
Yes. So I will preface this with, I've been an entrepreneur for, I would say almost 9 years, but only moved into the online world as a coach and business owner, course creator, mentor, about 2.5 years ago.
Okay.
And when I did, I was so determined to give myself basically a master's degree in how to bring my business online.
Yeah.
So I was taking every course and receiving a ton of coaching and just investing a lot. And then it turned into investing in my team as well and really growing in that way. And I am ready to move from this phase of feeling like I am reinvesting everything in my business, like 75% of my profits.
Yeah.
Into feeling like I'm in overflow. So I would love to just hear you jam about that move from the building phase into that overflowing abundance phase.
Yes. I love this topic so much. So thank you for bringing it forward. Tell me what kind of business you have.
I am a multidimensional and multi-passionate person, as I'm sure a lot of the women that you work with are. And I would say that it's a blend of coaching and digital course creation. And I have how do I put this? I've purchased the licensing to put forward a program that I took about 11 years ago to train to be a coach, just specifically, which was another big investment because I was allowed to rebrand it and put it all into my own work and add my own stuff. And it's called the Creation Coach Academy.
Okay.
But I also work with soul voice activation, light language, people speaking their truth. And I've really had to learn how to be able to create an umbrella for everything because I'm like, there's so many things that I love to do. Yeah. So it's really about the luminous evolution of the whole human.
I love how you stated that. That's amazing. And I love how you have invested in yourself and your business. I think that is an important piece that we probably don't talk about enough in the online service space. This is one of the unique spaces where if you wanted to, you could have almost 100% profit margins right out the gates without doing any investment. And, you know, when we look at other more traditional businesses, like my best friend's brother has just opened a restaurant with a business partner. It's been almost a year now. So they're coming up on their 1-year mark and the restaurant is crushing it. It's doing so well that they've paid off all of their small business loans and they've just made their first loan payment to the friends and family investors who are part of the restaurant group. Okay. So when we think about that as the definition of a really successful restaurant is that at the first year, you get to start making a loan payment. Oh my gosh, we're doing so well. Right. And yet in the online space, it's sort of like, oh, I'm in a little bit of debt. Oh, I had to put something on a credit card. We think we're like this failure of a human. And it's like, you know, I've run an e-commerce product-based business now for 7 years. And it's like, let me tell you something. It is impossible to run that kind of a business without taking on debt and without, paying for the inventory in advance of anyone purchasing it. So I think some of this that you're inviting us into, whether it's for you or whether it's for the listeners, is just the fact that like, it's okay to invest in your business. It's okay to be in debt in your first few years in business. It's okay to have a smaller profit margin. And when you're talking about like basically having 25% margins in a lot of industries, like that is so killer. Like those margins are so good. But the reason they're so good is because those are higher volume industries, right? So like consumable products, food, for example, we work with a lot of food and beverage brands in our e-commerce agency. Food has notoriously slim margins, but they do high volumes, okay? So no one is coming to us saying like, well, we do $30,000 a month and we have a 5% margin. That math is not going to work. You're not going to be able to feed yourself and put a roof over your head and everything. But, when you're doing $1 million months with a 5% margin, all of a sudden it's like the math makes sense. So your margins are good. You're desiring to keep more in the business and have more of it really pass through to your personal account. Yes. Yeah. So what does your average monthly revenue look like right now?
It has been really variable because I have gone through some massive personal transformation that I was attending to instead of putting things in my business. So when I'm showing up fully, there is that like 18, 20K a month. And then when I'm like, okay, I am going to coast on my recurring revenue because I need to go into my cocoon, more like, 8K, 10K.
Okay. Awesome. Congrats. So, all right. So 8K, 10K up to like 20K plus. And what starts to feel like surplus? Is it bigger numbers or is it just having more of that money stay in with you versus paying team and paying other coaches and that kind of thing?
Well, because I would like to be able to continue to invest in my personal and spiritual and business development, I would love to have the money to invest in that coaching and all of that and have the money in my personal account. So I feel like just amplifying the numbers would be what I would want to do without scaling back on how much I'm spending.
Yeah. Okay. And here's the thing that will happen to you is that as more money is coming in, naturally your margin will get better. Yes. Right? Because if you're spending, for example, like $5,000 a month on a coach or a couple coaches and healers and such, well, if only 10,000 comes in, that's 50% of your margin right there. But if 50,000 comes in, then it's 10%. So I totally agree. I think it's really difficult to run these kind of like heart forward spiritual businesses without continuing to invest in mentors that get to hold us while we're holding everyone else. So you and I talked before we hit record about how I had written a post, maybe it's been like a year ago now, about how for most people, until you're making like 30K a month, it really just doesn't feel all that abundant. And for everyone listening that's like, 30K a month, I don't need that much. You'll have to go back and read my post because I break it all down based on how much of that goes to taxes, how much of that goes to team and mentorship and everything that has to come out of that 30K before the amount that actually hits your bank account. And then, by the way, once it hits your personal bank account, the expenses don't end, right? Because we still have a mortgage or a rent payment. I've got kids in preschool and that shit ain't cheap. And, it's like, it's just numbers. It's just facts. So is it really 30K a month for you? Or is there a number that feels like, ooh, that would be like juicy surplus?
I mean, I have the long-term and short-term goals. So, because I'm so close to that 30K, like I know easily how to get there and it's just a matter of time and showing up. Yeah. So, I mean, I also have my eye on the 6-figure months because that would be magical.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll play with 30K as the number for now. Now, one of the things that you talked about is, there are times when you're feeling a little bit more cocooned, where you're attending a little bit more to like your own personal growth and evolution. And those months are maybe more like 8 or 10K because there's already the recurring income there. I really would love to see a growth plan for you that just involves growing that to 30K. Because it honestly is hard on our nervous system when we have to sell something every month in order to feel like money is there and supporting us and that all of our needs are taken care of. And frankly, it makes the sales harder because if there's even a shred of, I need you to buy from me, it's like our clients are so tuned into their own intuition. And they're just like, something feels off with this. I'm not buying it. But when it's like, when you know that you're already in overflow, that whether you show up or not, there's 30K that's like already coming through the door just with your current clients and the ways that you serve them, then everything that you show up and sell just gets to live on the frequency of more in desire, in service, and just whatever you're feeling excited about offering.
Mm-hmm.
So what kinds of containers do you have that add to that monthly recurring?
The recurring revenue is typically it has been in the Creation Coach Academy.
Okay.
And in one-on-one mentorship.
Okay. Cool. And how often are you showing up and selling those two things?
I have not shown up to sell one-on-one in a very long time because all I need to do is energetically go, I'm available for another client. And they'll be like, hello, are you taking people? Which has been really quite wonderful.
Okay.
But only twice a year with the Creation Coach Academy. Now, I have been feeling though, like that is not what I am supposed to lead my business with. So that's the precipice point that I'm at because it's not 100% mine, but I have been asked. We work with Gaia, the Mother Nature, and she was like, yes, please do this. But I feel like I've midwifed that program. And so now I'm like, every time I try to sell it directly, it's just not quite there. So I'm like trying to give it lift off. So I have come to understand that there's something else that wants to come through me that is actually mine, an offer that also doesn't have 10% taken off the top in like the royalty fees. And then as I grow what is truly mine, the other business will also rise because they'll be growing my visibility and my audience and everything else.
Okay. Got it. But you don't have clarity yet on what this thing is that wants to come through?
It's close, but not full clarity yet. Okay.
And you haven't made yourself energetically available for more one-on-one clients. What's the reason for that?
I, in the past, didn't have the right structure in my days and energy. And that's what this actually almost entire year has been, is sealing up energy leaks and getting more support in other places and spaces so that I could hold more. I love group containers though. And so I do really like taking very minimal one-on-one clients and doing more group work. So it feels like, is it a mastermind and a course that wants to come through? Like I have so many ideas. It's just a question of what is going to be, the most sustainable and joyful and abundant.
Yeah. Are you holding any masterminds right now?
Not currently, but I do have one beginning on Thursday.
Okay.
Just a short 9-week experience.
Okay, great. So that'll be fun practice for you. In the way that you've sold one-on-one in the past, what has it looked like? Is it weekly calls? Is it Voxer support? What's the structure? Bi-weekly with WhatsApp, because Voxer doesn't work as well for me. It's a weird thing. Okay. I mean, you really could energetically make yourself available for another one-on-one client, and get more recurring revenue. And there's nothing saying that client doesn't also join masterminds and group spaces as well. One thing that I see sometimes in my clients is when they're having resistance to opening up more one-on-one space, they have a belief about who's going to come in and that it's going to take energy from them. And what I found is that as long as it's like great aligned soulmate clients that come in, they give me energy. It feels like the most effortless service. I'm like, wait, I'm getting paid for this? And you're asking me these amazing questions. And so then all of this wisdom is pouring through my mouth, and that makes incredible social media posts and sometimes inspires other programs. It just feels like such a win-win.
Mm-hmm.
So that could be something to look at for you. It's like, hang on, I'm saying I'm ready to be in surplus and overflow. I have the most incredible thing in the world that everyone listening to would literally drool and fall over themselves to have, which is that I don't even have to sell my one-on-one. I just have to energetically decide, and then my clients come to me. But you haven't done it. So it's like, there's something there. And I get, of course, not wanting to be so full with one-on-ones that you can't do your other stuff, but you're doing bi-weekly calls plus WhatsApp. Like the structure is good. Is the pricing off? Do you not feel aligned with your one-on-one pricing anymore?
I didn't. I was like, I'm full. And I was like, wait, am I full at this price? Yes. And then I was like, okay, I can bump it up. And so I do have the intention to open that up again in November. But because I'm launching 2 things right now, it just felt like I wanted to focus my energy for the next week or 2 and then be like, and now once those 2 programs are up and running, then be like, and one-on-one, who's ready to play?
Got it. Okay. So it might be fun to play with a paid wait list for your one-on-one, where it's like they get to lock in the rate and they can start paying, and then the work starts whenever it's available in your schedule. I mean, you can tell them, you can say, you can get on the wait list now for November, or once people jump in for November, then maybe it's going to be paid wait list for January or what have you. But, that's a fun way to create stability and longevity around the offer. It's like, okay, the money is already coming in. I already have more clients stacked. And if the wait list starts to get bigger, then it's just another invitation to raise your prices. But if you've been playing with the idea of a mastermind, like in my high level mastermind, I still do a one-on-one call every month. It's a 30-minute call, it's audio only, which is how I do all of my coaching calls. It feels so effortless. And so it's like kind of the best of both worlds. You're in group space. So they don't get private Voxer. It's a group Voxer. They get access to programs, but they do get a one-on-one call. So you could play with something like that. Like if you feel like your one-on-one has been the most effortless to sell, but you're really leaning into mastermind and more group space, maybe creating a little hybrid offer. How does that feel?
Yeah, it feels very intriguing. I like the idea of shorter calls because with my one-on-one clients now, we tend to go 75 minutes at least, oftentimes 90, because we work really deep and go into sacred spaces, and there's meditations and activations, and then we have to integrate it. So it would be nice to do some shorter.
Well, and that could be so cool in a group, Kacie, where it's like, it's really like a circle of women where you're doing the activation and meditation with all of them. And then either you can do a group integration call, or they can do some of the integration one-on-one.
Yes. I do that. That's what happens in my previous masterminds and other coaches or classes and things like that. But my one-on-one work, whenever I try to make it shorter and just make it coaching without going into that space, Spirit is like, the fastest way to resolve this is to go into do the magic work and not just speak about it. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like, as much because I've tried, I've been like, I could take more clients if they were shorter calls.
It's like go deep. Yeah, but that's the other way. It's like, well, if it needs to be 75 minutes, that's fine. But it's like, does it have to be just one woman on that call? Or could it be, a sacred circle?
We really both. Like for my high
Yeah.
level clients, it's such a different experience when it's just us because we're not doing the group. We're doing something that is so tailored, so targeted for what they're moving through, and the magic of healing that we can offer is absolutely stunning. Like it keeps surprising all of us. We're like I can't even believe we went there, and the ripples that come from it. So I don't want to give that up because it's so special, but it's also very energetically not demanding, but there's a lot of presence. So I really can't take more. I have 5 one-on-one clients right now.
Yeah.
And that feels like I could do one more at a higher price point, but not a lot more.
Yeah. Well, so those are the things to play with, right? Is like changing the price, or maybe it's one call a month because it's like so incredibly juicy and there's so much depth to it and length, right? Too. Is that what you feel like you're bumping up against in terms of growing the business is like your time capacity?
In the past it was, but I've really like the last year I was also creating all of the content for the academy, which was very time consuming, and I'm beyond that phase now. So now I have all this time. I have other programs that I want to show up. I want to do more content and share more. It's actually the what question, like the what is the next thing that is through me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. So you feel like you have time capacity, you have energetic capacity, you're just sort of awaiting instruction from the divine.
Yeah, like letting it land and really there's multiple things that want to come through, and I'm like, not all at once. Take your turn. Who's first?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I get that. And it's like the voids are so necessary to be like, okay, I'm ready and available. I am in receptive mode. What's going to come through? Yeah. Because I mean, everything you're saying, I'm like, so why don't you have 30K months right now? Like, I don't get it.
I was in the void through the summer and had to create the stability in my time, my body, my energy, and even my relationship with my husband so that I could. And now that's what I'm saying. It's like, that's inevitable. The 30K months is inevitable. The next thing that I offer or the thing after that, like it's already on the way. I can feel it. I already am the person who is an energetic match for it. So
yeah. Okay. So I would just look at, the recurring revenue. Also, I wonder the Coaches Academy thing. It's got the C's. Looking at like, could that be more evergreen?
I've already created it, so it is quite evergreen. And I'm just going to be live in there like 3 hours a month, sort of thing.
Okay.
So, but this last year was like making everything so that it could be there, training the staff, like, and it will be.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you were kind of expressing like some resistance coming up around selling it. So it's like, if you did all of that work and you created it and you know that it's like part of your mission that you're fulfilling by having it, then it's like, I would just go back to Gaia and be like, okay, well, listen, sister, you got to give you like, either you've got to give me the energy and what's needed in order to sell this thing as well, or you've got to take care of that piece, because somebody's got to sell and market this thing. And like, I want to be financially supported by it. And I wouldn't worry about the 10%. Like, I get that it's not going to be like your main thing, but also it's like, if you just enroll 10% more people than you did before.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't have resistance to selling it, but every time I've tried, well, no, just this last time, it felt like I was somehow missing the mark in speaking to the people, the right people to call them in.
Yeah.
So
Got
it's
it. So you were
been
trying
much
to sell it, but
I
it
was.
just, the enrollment wasn't what you expected.
Yes,
Got it.
exactly. So
Okay.
I have a different plan though. We have these oracle cards that are beautiful that we have redesigned from like
Ooh.
all of the other ones. Like they're just, it's the
Oh,
most
those are
profound
gorgeous.
work. Like, oh, they're
Wow.
so great. But we've pulled out the Oracle card reader certification from that program to sell individually. Right. And then
Okay.
people can go in from the shorter program that's like 6 modules and then upgrade
Okay.
to the academy. And that just feels much more effortless.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I like that. Just growing your audience and growing your reach. And then it's like more of a choose your own adventure. And they can go into it whenever they want.
Yeah.
You're supporting it with the 3 hours a month, really, regardless of how many people are in it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. And so like the whole plan, but the physical product side, so many delays. Oh my God.
Yeah.
With global shipping supplies and all kinds of things. And so that's been a learning zone for me that also took up all my energy. So I had the lesson of when I was trying to figure all that out, it crashed my energy so hard I couldn't show up in other places. So now I understand that I need someone else to do that for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Other lessons in being able to hold more.
Yeah. Beautiful. Well, I'll leave you with a little homework because I think it does feel really close. It feels like you have all of the fundamentals there. Like it's like you're baking a cake and it's like you have the recipe and you have all the ingredients. So now it's just literally mixing them together and then putting it in the oven. Like you're not going to screw this up. It is inevitable. It is on its way. And the ways that we can sort of collapse time around it is journal on the 30K per month version of you and just get curious. Like there are no wrong questions to ask, but it's like, what does her morning routine look like? What kind of food is she eating? How does she take care of her body? What does her schedule look like on a weekly basis? And often there will be a couple of things on the page that will jump out at you as like, oop, I could be doing that already now. And I'm not, but isn't it interesting that I think the 30K per month version of me does that?
Sorry, I'm just laughing because that's how I became an energetic match and it was inevitable. I did that this summer and I connected with her and I realized she takes her own medicine in ceremony and meditation every day first before she shows up. So I started doing that and that's why I'm like, oh, it's inevitable. 30, like it's already on its way. So I reconnect to her all of the time, which is why it just feels like,
energetically you're already there with her. And then I just would also recommend playing with borrowing your belief around the way that women come into your one-on-one and see if you can stretch that belief to some of your other containers. That like, actually, I can be working on me and not showing up online and still selling all of my stuff.
Yes. And I've seen that happen so many times with the most soul-aligned people. So yes, thank you. I will also bug Gaia and be like, hey, let's amp it up enough.
Yeah. Come on, sister. Let's do this thing. Amazing. Well, you must message me as soon as you have your first 30K month so I can celebrate with you.
Yeah.
And for everyone listening, where would you like them to connect with you if they're feeling drawn to learn more about you, follow your journey?
I would love to connect with them online. Either I'm on TikTok as Luminous Evolution, Instagram as the Luminous Evolution, or you can find me on Facebook because I'm there all the time as well. And that's just Kacie Knight.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Kacie. We'll drop all those links in the show notes for everyone listening. And to everyone listening, thank you so much for being here. We'll talk to you soon. Bye. Wasn't Kacie the best? She is so incredible. I hope you had so many takeaways from that episode. And as you have them, please tag me at It Makes Money, tag Kacie at The Luminous Evolution, and share those takeaways. I think that would just mean so much to her that you listened to the episode and that you had some aha moments as well. Here were my top takeaways. Number one, it's okay to have debt or low margins during the first years of business. This is normal for so many industries. Number two, when you actually do the math, we often won't feel surplus until our business is hitting $30,000 months. Number three, looking at offers, pricing, and business structure helps to diagnose where there's room to scale and what, if anything, is the block. Number four, connecting in with our future self version of us that has already hit our money goal, and we can get curious about her and start embodying her now. And number five, being soul-led entrepreneurs means stepping into the void from time to time. Surrendering and allowing ourselves to be receptive to what's next is all that's required. So thank you so much for tuning in. If you've been enjoying the show, please leave a review. Please share the show with a friend on social media. It's free. It helps so much. And gosh, I honestly cannot believe that this show has been downloaded more than 10,000 times. So thank you so much for listening and tuning in every week. And I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Thank you so much for tuning into today's show. Before you go, I have something fun to share. Now, when you leave a review of the podcast on Apple, Spotify, or YouTube, take a quick screenshot and send it to hi@emilywilcox.com. You'll be entered into a drawing to win a free one-on-one Voxer coaching day with me, and you help the show reach more new listeners. Such a win-win. I also invite you to follow me on Instagram at mmakesmoney and to jump into my free Telegram community, The Money Club, which is linked in the show notes. Until next time, I'm sending you all the magic money vibes.